Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
I will send to Congress a law designed to eliminate illegal barriers to the right to vote.
President Lyndon B. Johnson speaking before a joint session of Congress in March of 1965, advocating for the Voting Rights Act. 5 months later, on this date in history, 60 years ago, LBJ signed that legislation into law.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And yeah, yesterday was the anniversary of that Voting Rights Act that is now being taken away, thrown away. Already has most of it thrown away by the Supreme Court. And part of that Voting Rights Act that was thrown away was the ability for racist Nazi states like Texas to be able to gerrymander black people and brown people out of the vote. Well, that's exactly what they're doing now. The Democrats of that state, in order to try to block this ridiculous rule, this ridiculous gerrymandering in the middle of the decade, have decided to leave the state. You know all this. Well, yesterday, the story that I didn't get to because life is crazy, and I apologize, so I'm bringing it to you now. Representatives from Texas, currently under the protection of Governor Pritzker, in that very same protest, were targets of a bomb threat called into their hotel yesterday. On the anniversary of that same Voting Rights Act. Yes.
Yeah, well, let's start with last night. A right-wing video blogger who has White House credentials, I might add, as a correspondent at the White House, came to an area of Illinois where some of the legislators are staying and started videoing and reporting online about it. And so that he then put up a map and put a pin on the map and said, this is where these Texas legislators are. So that started this. This morning, there was a bomb threat against the hotel that those Texas legislators were staying at. It had to be swept with a bomb squad, and the legislators are safe. We have brought in state police and other law enforcement to protect them. So it's a dangerous moment in the country, and now it's literally the physical well-being of those legislators.
The new Republican Party's platform is violence, threats, subjugation. That's it. Allow me to give a take here. And this is coming as a Democrat who gives high praise to those Texas lawmakers who are standing up for the rights of black and brown Texans against Governor Hot Wheels and the majority party, otherwise known as the Ku Klux Republican Klan. Okay? Here's the take. Democrats, everywhere else, this is as much your fault as it is these idiot MAGA incel sister fucking trailer trash freaks. Yes. Why? Well, let's just listen to the statement from Representative Debbie fucking Dingell after the bomb threat. Quote, all of us, every single one of us has to help dial down the level of rhetoric, and we are all normalizing violence, and that's not okay. End quote. Excuse me? Excuse me. According to Reuters, they've identified 300 cases of political violence since 2021, with nearly all of it coming from right-wing extremists and kooks. Debbie fucking Dingell. This is why they get away with it. This is why they do it again. What are you talking about all of us for? Why can't you tell the truth? Your lack of integrity in this moment is the reason why no one believes you, and our poll numbers are down, whilst people are coming from Texas making a stand against the bullshit. You lie. It is not all of us that need to worry about this. There's one party, the Ku Klux Republican Klan, has normalized violence and now execute every single political decision made through violence, threats. The damn president just fired the bean counter because the numbers that came in he didn't like. Instead of changing the policy, he just threatens, fires, subjugates. That is the new policy of the right wing. YouTube, we could just stay in Texas. We could just stay in Texas for examples, okay? Another Texas man and self-described Nazi was recently arrested exposing a massive terrorist attack plan, plus a stockpile of explosives and guns. In Minnesota, June 14th, Melissa Hortman and her husband were shot to death. And State Senator John Hoffman and his wife were wounded. The suspect had a hit list of 45 Democratic officials, including 8 from Michigan. You know why? Do you know why, YouTube? Here, read with me from The Guardian. How the right spread brutal and cruel misinformation after lawmaker killings. This is how they do things now. Fox News, Newsmax. I hope you're reading. The right has become a violent terrorist organization that has been both-sided to death. The right has become a violent terrorist organization that has been normalized and accepted by God knows who and God knows why. There's better news out there. You could use Ground News. Ground News has very quickly become one of my most prized resources, my go-to even, because I get to find out what stories are not covered by the blind spot feature, which I love, but not just the blind spot feature. Any of the stories that I bring up, I can see what either side is saying about it. I can also see who's paying for those headlines. It tells me who owns the publication, which also lets me know who they're writing it for. Many times, none of that is for us. But understanding the context helps us understand the story. Ground News is absolutely one of, if not the best way to know that you've gotten every side of a story and that there's not enough spin in the world that can have you misinterpret it. In 2018, Gretchen Shirley ran for New York 2nd District. She pushed for legislation that would allow funding for childcare for members of Congress. YouTube. She had her car window smashed. The anonymous calls popped up at her daughter's nursery school. Again, Texas, an armed man who threatened lawmakers, by the way, at the state capitol was detained. In Georgia, a man was arraigned after prosecutors said he threatened sexual violence against 2 United States senators. In York, Pennsylvania, a man accosted a group of people rallying for Vice President Kamala Harris's White House campaign, punching a 74-year-old man in the head and calling another man an N-word supporter as he fled. Also in Pennsylvania, you may remember, the governor's mansion was firebombed during Passover. What about Michigan? The conspiracy to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer? Remember that? Was that both sides? What about 2011? Gabby Giffords and 18 others that were shot. What about 2016? The OK City bombing? 2020? Daniel Anderl, the 20-year-old only son of Judge Esther Salinas, shot and killed. 2015, YouTube, Dylan Roof, a white supremacist himself, right-winger, shot and killed 9 members of a black church. We call this the Charleston church shooting. You remember that, YouTube? Was that all sides, both sides, that need to tamp down the rhetoric after that shooting? The people thought, listen, why don't we remove the Confederate statues of slave owners in the area? Since it's the least we could do after the murder of black people for no other reason than being black while they were in the middle of worshiping a God we gave to them. Well, YouTube, in 2017, the Unite the Right rally was formed because, one, removal of those statues of slave owners and traitors offended them. And number 2, the conviction of the murderer, Dylan Roof. So, Dingell at that rally, at that rally being held to support slave masters and traders and murderers and rapists from 100 years ago, as well as defend the racist murderer that just killed 9 black people. Self-identified white supremacist James Alex Field Jr. deliberately rammed his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, killing 1 and injuring 35 people at a rally, supporting a murderer already. Both sides what? Just to make sure all of you in the resistance out here know exactly why she's the problem. I went to her website to see what party she belonged to make sure I knew who I was talking about. Tell me, YouTube. Tell me. What party does she belong to? I'll wait. You see it? Nowhere. There's nowhere on her website does it say what party she belongs to. She's just a person, just a representative. Because in Michigan, she believes that if she even says the word Democrat, that people aren't going to elect her. Dingleberry McFuckface plays both sides to please a voting base that she is actually training to be dumber and stupider by the day. Because even though her voting record is good, YouTube, she doesn't want them to know that it's the Democrats writing the policies that are actually helping them. Huh? How does it make sense, YouTube? Every other lawmaker has a D by their name. Democratic candidate so-and-so. Democratic lawmaker so-and-so. D. But she would rather her constituents be dumb as to who's writing the things that are good for them so that they too can think about both sides tamping it down for some fucking reason. Since the left wing can't seem to be honest about actual right-wing extremism, I will, YouTube. Using the PNS.org as a reference here, in comparison to left-wing supporters, right-wing individuals are more often characterized by closed-mindedness and dogmatism. I'll leave the references down there in the description so you can find this shit for yourself. I'm not making this up. Right-wingers are defined by heightened need for order, structure, and cognitive closure, because such characteristics have been found to increase in groups' bias and lead to greater out-group hostility. Violence for a cause may be more likely among proponents of right-wing ideologies. In contrast, in comparison to their right-wing counterparts, left-wing individuals score higher on openness to new experiences, cognitive complexity, and tolerance of uncertainty. They're also less likely to support social dominance. In line with this reasoning, some studies have demonstrated an empathy gap between liberal and conservative individuals. Allow me to translate. What they're saying here scientifically is because conservatives are fucking violent, evil people who care about power and do not care about others. They lack empathy and care for humanity other than the ones that look like them for the purposes of power and power only. They're scared of their own shadow and change. They're stupid. They may be able to convince a few people who aren't stupid and ignorant and evil and violent and scared of their own shadow to follow them for fake reasons, but it's only until they realize, oh, I'm a part of the evil, stupid, scared, violent, racist Nazi party. I didn't realize that when I got in. So kudos to you if you figured it out and got out. Democrats, why don't you use this scientific knowledge? Let people know, oh, you're a part of that violent, evil, stupid, scared of your own shadow, scared of change, and want to rule from the top down party. You're a part of that party. At least admit it. That's why. That's why. In the 2023 House Homeland Security Subcommittee on Oversight, Investigations, and Accountability Report transcript, they literally called left-wing organized violence mostly peaceful. The ranking member from Maryland, Representative Ivey, noted in this study, in doing research for this, I came across something I had never heard of, but apparently it is a very serious problem that I really think this committee should look at. It's called incel. What that is short for is involuntary celibacy. This is a group of men who are imitating a guy named Elliot Rodger, who has the philosophy that men should be able to have sex with women of their choice at any time that they want. Many times they go out and they have been killing people. YouTube. This guy, Elliot Rodger, who spawned this, killed 6 people and attacked 14, stabbed 3 to death. Your intolerance, your stupidity, your adverse thinking to education of any sort, your inability to change, you're being scared of everything that doesn't look, act, think like you. This is who you are. And I don't know if you can change. I don't give a fuck anymore. You've gerrymandered yourself into existence because the truth is there's not enough people left in America to actually vote for your level of stupidity, incompetence, evil, and now you lash out. Destroy everything that you don't want to see or read about. Who's next? Who's next? YouTube? Democrats, while you both sides this to the fucking ground? The homeless camps they're already coming. And we'll discuss them in more detail in an upcoming show very soon. The LGBTQ, the disabled, and the elderly, they're also on a chopping block. No one's safe because of this. The largest terrorist organization on earth, the Ku Klux Republican Klan, otherwise known as the Republican Party in America. They've been saying it over and over again in public, and we still give them space to do it. We still act like it's some sort of decent, respectable organization. This terrorist, evil, violent party. My God, Trump deletes part of the U.S. Constitution.
Donald Trump just deleted the Constitution. I wish I was kidding, folks. But the deeper you dive into this stupid-ass dystopian story, the crazier it gets. Where Brian Krasenstein posts breaking. The U.S. government has just removed sections 9 and 10 of Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution from their website. Note that sections 9 and 10 deal with writ of habeas corpus, aka the fundamental right that protects individuals from unlawful detention.
Where are those who were sworn to fight against a tyrannical government? How can we defend against these threats and neutralize them is a very good question. So we have people like Jasmine Crockett, Tim Walz, that are actually fighting. That's where they are. So we have a few people. We have people like Katie Porter. That's who's fighting. We have people like Mamdani that are trying to become new fighters. That's who. We also have organizations that I'm going to try to put down there in the comment section, in the description. That's where we get our power from, mutual aid, That's why we must win the midterms and match them by redrawing maps, district by district, and any other means possible. But just as willing as they are to bend the rules, to follow the rules that they've made up and hit them where they're exposed, and follow up with some real solutions of our own for the actual people. Be willing to be arrested, if necessary, for making good trouble with walkouts, sit-ins, picket lines. We don't just use our voice, but your choices with consumer boycotts, supporting democratic issues. And yes, as I said in another video, I believe yesterday, start working on the support networks, the 5 things. What are you going to do in your neighborhood to create enough food, saving, stocking up, money for those who can, transportation solutions, safety solutions for your neighborhood watch or more, and childcare, who's babysitting. If you can find 6, 7, 10 homes that can delegate these 5 things, We are well on our way in as many neighborhoods as possible to beginning that general strike. And even if we never get there, we'll at least have the mutual aid necessary and the skills necessary for the support needed to fight this shit. Another big step. Join us. Join us today. Because no matter who else is out there doing it, or if you're watching this and not sure that you can do any of those things, you can join us, because tomorrow we fight. Every tomorrow we fight. So yesterday I gave a shout out to all of my Patreon members who helped this whole channel stay afloat, as well as helping others, because that's where that money usually goes. Today, all of my channel members right here on the Political Drain, you guys get a shout out. Callahan, Truth Seeker. Iris Ramos, Truth Seeker. Katz Amanda and Friends, Truth Seeker. Jennifer Hackbarth, Truth Seeker. Cher Dev Hopfas, Truth Seeker. Galvanized Iron, Team Drain, Truth Seeker. Oxford Cat, Truth Seeker. American Girl in Mexico, Truth Seeker. Political Demon Slayer, Truth Seeker. Steve Paris, Truth Seeker. Jenny Knops, Truth Seeker. The Tumblr Witch, Truth Seeker. JGB, Team Drain, Truth Seeker. Aiden Swallow, another Truth Seeker. Reggie Elmore, Truth Seeker. Ainsworth Core, Truth Seeker. Sam I Am, another Truth Seeker. Now, next level, Truth Tellers. Mott Kineko, Truth Teller, Mott Kineko. Richard McGarity, Truth Teller. TM, Truth Seeker. Sorry, didn't mean that. Comics, Truth Teller. Helen Burrows, Truth Seeker. Tanya Mitchell, Truth Seeker. Reborn to be Wild, Truth Seeker. Marilla Sands, Truth Teller category. Caesar Weinbrenner, another Truth Seeker. Wireless Sunday, Dominga Barboza, Truth Seeker. Loretta Tolliver, another Truth Seeker. Wendell August, another Truth Seeker. Don Hanson, a Truth Seeker. Sweet Black Queen Melon. Let's try it again. Sweet Black Melon, Truth Seeker. Alexander G, Truth Seeker. Wilkie Lemieux, Truth Seeker. William White, Truth Seeker. Alexander Jr. Thompson, Truth Seeker. The Marine Mom 1960, Truth Seeker. King of the Swack, Truth Seeker. Jody, 2 E's, Truth Seeker. Shirley S, Truth Seeker. Tony Henderson, Team Drain, Truth Teller. Nathan Nightingale, Truth Seeker. Lexanity Rides, another Truth Seeker. Amanda McDonald, Truth Seeker. Benny Loco, Truth Seeker. Patrick Carras, Truth Seeker. Alto Eager, Truth Seeker. Alan Holtzman, Truth Seeker. Casper Northerner, you know I love you, Truth Teller. Linda Kirkham, Truth Seeker. Amelia Adams, Truth Seeker. Norma J, you know I love you too, another Truth Seeker. Porcupine Doily, Truth Seeker. Dylan Gott, Truth Seeker. T Not J, there you go. T Not J, Truth Seeker. Or Peace Dude, Truth Seeker. Madame Zenobia, you know I love you, girl, Truth Seeker. Scott Reese, thank you, sir, Truth Teller. Lady Myriad, Truth Seeker. Merlin Core, Truth Seeker. Laura Malcolm, Truth Teller. Thank you to all of you. It means the world to us. And if you want your shout out, join. Come on. Plus, we got a live tonight. And it's for members and Patreon members as well. So don't be shy. Come on in. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.